The Beef and Barnzy Show, brought to you by Bowlersmart.com, trusted by bowlers around the world since 2004. By Lightning Strikes Bowl, home of Bowlers Mart Pro Shop. By Platinum Ford, drive the difference. By Fire Lake Bowling Center, 24 state-of-the-art lanes. By True Grit Coatings, drive on our passion. By Roll to Grip, king of them all. By 900 Global, striking worldwide.
Good morning, guys. How are we doing on this Tuesday? We are going to experiment. We're going to experiment with having the chat come up on the side here. So let me know if you like it or not. But we're going to try it. It's an update from StreamYard, so we will see how that works. And we'll go from there. Nico, nice to see you. Yeah, I just didn't know what we were going to get done today, so I'm still kind of at a loss as to what to chat about, but you guys usually bring pretty good questions. I guess as long as you guys are asking questions, I'll stay online answering them. But yeah, I don't really have a theme for the show today. Billy, what's going on? Thanks for joining us again. Adam, hello, mate. I don't even know how to say that. But you put the goat symbols. I assume you're looking for Barnes. That's definitely not me. Dan, nice to see you. Thanks. Good morning. Derek, hello again. John, how are we doing? James, nice to see you. What's up? Yeah, not a lot. Not a lot is up. Bowled the regional in Lubbock this weekend. Bowled terrible on Saturday, but managed to make the cut. They ran the 32 man bracket, which was kind of fortunate for me, given how bad I bowled, but got through. Took out a local guy from Austin, Steve Schaefer, in the first round. Bowled Dio Bernard in the second round. Kind of messed around a little bit on how I was going to break the lanes down, and that helped me quite a bit, actually. Bowled a really good match against Dio. Needed a strike in the 10th to win. Got that. Moved on, bowled against Bam Bam Kelso, the 590-pound showdown, as we were laughing about. Just a frustrating match. Felt like I bowled better than Chris. Chris got the quite a few good breaks in the second game, but the third game, he made a great ball change, and he threw a really good game. He ended up coming out victorious 710 to 677. 677 was one of the highest scores in all of match play, so that was a little frustrating to lose. But congratulations to Francois. He got another regional title, and in shocking terms, he played Maldi in the final. So yeah, everything is the same on the Southwest region, no matter what the format is. So, Jason, nice to see you. Nico, we can chat about tour finals, the Masters, or the PWBA. Yeah, I didn't really watch much of any of that, to be honest. I caught the PWBA a little bit. Jordan getting her victory, so that was good for her. Yeah, shout out to Karine Acuff. Quite a rise that she's had in recent years. Good for her. She hopefully she can get back to that spot again. But quite an amazing week, being the top seed. Always feel a little sorry for the people who end up leading and don't end up winning. The tour finals, I think, continues to be one of the roughest watches for me personally. Saturdays is a lot of bowling for not a lot of payback. Congrats to Andrew on the win. He's had a great season. Yeah, good for him. But for me, I'm not particularly upset that tournament's going away. I understand why they do that because they've got so many hours to fill. It's not a format that gets me excited. I can tell you that. Joe, nice to see you. Doing all right. Still a little sick. Morning. Yeah, Senior Masters. Doherty ended up coming out with the win. Parker Bone and him both bowled great. To be honest, once Chris didn't make the cut, I didn't pay that much attention to it. But shout out to Tony Franklin for making the show. That was that was a bit of fun for the people down here. So yeah. Morning. How do you keep your feet on you and not get too steep or bend forward? I think that trying to stand as tall as possible, and think about having your chest plate, going towards the pins, is kind of the kind of the main deal with that. I think you can feel like almost like you sit down in the shot a little bit as well. That can help. But I think mainly one other thing that I do think is if you push the ball away too far, you tend to follow it a little bit. So if you kind of don't have your push away quite as far out, I think that like you're not chasing the ball as much. And I think once you chase the ball, you're going to get a lot forward. Hey Scott, what's going on? Hopefully that worked out, Chuck. Thanks. Getting ready to bowl nationals, and Nate Perch is on my team. Well, Nate's a good dude. He's been bowling good, so I'm sure he will steer you in the right direction on where to play. Goat of live streams on Tuesdays. What about Thursdays? What does plasticizer do to a bowling ball? Do all balls contain it? Nick, I've got no idea. I've got to the point now where I just I don't even know what I'm complaining for. Because I don't know what's going to help me or not help me. Like, I wish that I was good enough that I knew what would help me or not help me. Yeah, I've no idea what plasticizer does anymore. Like, I don't make bowling balls. I've just, yeah, I don't know. Bowling regional on Don Johnson pattern in 2 weeks. Any advice for that pattern? Yeah. I think the main thing is that we just bowled on it this weekend, and it's different almost everywhere you go. It's a fairly flat pattern. So starting off, kind of figure out where the track is in the bowling center. I think that's going to be your best bet, because at least you'll have a little bit of miss there. Sometimes urethane looks pretty good on this pattern, other times not so much. This weekend in Lubbock didn't really look that great. Kind of felt like it really read the oil down the lane and really backed off. So for me, it's about keeping your angles kind of a little in front of you to start with, and then you can probably chase it in pretty good after that. Yeah, that's kind of the way I've seen that pattern play out. I think straight through the front is usually good on tougher patterns. Hey Joni, nice to see you. Thanks for helping out Ryan. Yeah, it was good. It was good to see you again. I'll see you. I think I see you in a couple of weeks as well. So good luck when you go out to women's nationals. Second title of the season for Andrew. Yeah. What's going on with Chris? Well, if I knew that, I'd tell him. Yeah, I think that bowling is such a confident sport, and even when you're as great as Chris and you've won as many things as Chris, when you don't necessarily have confidence in what you're doing, it becomes a real challenge. And like, yeah, I just think he isn't doing great. Senior US Open is this week. Chris bowled very well last year at the Senior US Open. Yeah. I mean, I just think that he just needs a couple of things to click, and I think he'll be back on track. I just think that right now he's just struggling to consistently throw enough good shots, and like when it starts to go wrong, he's just, it's not necessarily frustration. It's just like, that sinking feeling of here we go again. I'm sure old Richard Allen here in the chat can empathize with that one. Okay. I've been yelled at for drinking as well on the show, so I'm trying to drink a little bit away from the mic. So, my dad, lefty, low revs, lots of axis rotation, wants to upgrade from his rubber ball. Oh boy. Any recommendations? He wants it to be black, which really narrows down the field. Pitch black, maybe. Yeah. I think pitch black might be a good starting point from a rubber ball. It's probably going to hook a lot anyway. Maybe there's a mix that you could think about. But yeah, that's a difficult one for sure. Yes, Tim, should be fun up at Battle Bowl. I haven't been to the UBA in a minute. I think the last time I went to UBA, I don't even know if Carolia was owned by Bolero. So, yeah, it's been a while. So, are you excited to be at Battle Bowl this year? Yeah, it should be fun. Got to not let that contract get out there. We got the Storm contract match, so got to take some hearts, some hopes and dreams. So we'll see. Is Urethane in play at the OC for team? It wasn't for me, but a few of the people I've spoken to seem to think that you could. Also, you're going to come back to AZ and bowl Agent Ongo with Cactus Classic. Maybe. It's yes, I want to. It's just that it never seems to work out time wise. But yes, I've also got to figure out when I'm going to go up and bowl the LBC. I've got to get that done. Yeah, got to get all of that taken care of. So we got a few things. The only thing I know for sure is that I'm going to be bowling in Lubbock again in a couple of weeks. Hey, Dick, if you're still listening, how about this for a prize one? We bowled a super regional this weekend. Lubbock Sports and South Plains Lanes put extra money up. And the prize fund was incredible. Outside of one of those fake tour stops that we called regionals, what were basically tour stops, those summer swing ones that didn't count as national titles, but all the people were national titleists. And yeah, the events I'm talking about. This was the best prize fund that I've ever bowled for in a regional, ever. 7,000 on top, 4,000 for second, 2,500 for third, fourth, 1,500 for fifth through eighth, 900, 9 through 16. And then I think it was 700 for next 8, and then 550 for making the cut. How about that one? 40,000 total purse. That's what we're talking about. That was fantastic. So shout out to Dylan Macon and his boss over at South Plains. Thanks a bunch to Lubbock Sports again. And great to be back in Lubbock. Wish I could have taken home a bigger check, but like what a prize fund. Like that was awesome. Really appreciate you guys for doing that. And yeah, great event. Yeah, I canceled that. Doug Smith says every athlete goes through slumps. Yeah, no, I know they do, but it's still been a few weeks now. Adam says makes this week's show. So Adam's still got faith in you, Chris. So that's good. How do you attack the bat pattern, and what balls would you use? When they've run that on the senior tour, the urethanes have really been really good. So probably with urethane, I think with it being 37 feet, you've got to see how much the gutter peels. So if you can really bounce it off 1-2, you're probably going to do that. Otherwise, you got to kind of, and if you can do that, you might be able to get into some smoother reactive balls. But if the 1-2 has kind of got a little bit of wiggle, which it might do, with the pattern being that length, then you can, you kind of need to make some, like kind of draw the gutter at probably 2-3 and move in a little bit with the urethane ball. And that's where that pattern might get a little tricky. If you've got kind of unlimited bounce off the gutter, the reactive balls are probably going to be pretty good. No, I haven't heard anything. I would doubt it this year, but who knows? Anything's possible, I guess. Morning, Donnie. Nice to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. Morning. Were all your layouts for nationals pin up? What were your surface adjustments? Good question. Yes, in general, except the hustle. That was kind of pinned right next to the ring finger. Our editor is currently editing a video where I literally go through all of my moves. Basically, I tried to show you the shapes I was bowling on this challenge pattern I've got. It's obviously not what we bowled on at nationals, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of kind of the way I bowled the lanes. So hopefully that'll be up in the next day or so. And then we can, I think that'll give you a better idea. But yes, pretty much all the balls I used were pin up. Outside of that hustle, but yeah. Okay, I can't get a straight answer, and I want your opinion on the Night Road and how it compares to some other balls in the current in a similar spot. Well, Zen 25 is nothing like the Road Warrior because it's super low RG. So let's cross the Zen 25 out because the Zen 25's way earlier. So let's get rid of that one. Road Warrior obviously comes with a little bit of surface. So I would say that, Night Road comes with a little bit of surface. So Zen 25 is going to be the strongest of all these balls. So let's kind of forget that. Typhoon is definitely the weakest, in my opinion, of the three. I would then probably put Night Road in there. And then for me, Road Warrior and High Road 40 are the kind of the ones to debate which way round they go. I personally think Road Warrior is a little bit less overall hook than the High Road 40, but I've kind of heard a few people the other way. So for me, I like the Night Road quite a bit. I actually shined mine and had quite a bit of success with it. I did use them dull as well, but it didn't really make a great deal of sense to me when it was dull. But if it was shiny, it would be just above the Typhoon. And then it would be like Road Warrior, High Road 40, Zen 25, like moving up the bag. The Orbi pattern, yeah, that one's actually pretty tough, I think. So on a lower friction surface, I think urethane is definitely going to be in play on that. How do you find a good coach? This actually brings me on to a interesting topic. There is a platform right now called Strike Tutor. If you Google it, they are trying to basically the idea of it is that they have coaches on there, and then students can go on there and look, and they'll have like a catalog of coaches you can choose from, and you can book the lesson through the platform. So check them out. If you just Google Strike Tutor, it should come up. If you have any troubles, just reach out to me. But most of the people right now that they have on the platform are based in Arizona. But I think they're trying to expand. Well, I know they're trying to expand is what I should say. So I think every day more and more coaches are coming on. So it could be an interesting way to find a coach. Where are you based, Evan? Let us know. Wow. Houses stepped up and put a lot of money into that prize fund. Yes. Yeah, it was fantastic. And I think that Joni said Walt Hanel. So yeah, thanks, Walt. That was awesome. Yeah. There'll be added money at Whitewood Lanes, Lubbock stop as well. Yeah, yeah, the both prize funds are fantastic. Yes, awesome. I'm really sad that we didn't get more info out on it though. I would have liked to have seen a bigger entry. I guess this isn't a good question for me because this is another one of those that I actively don't try to get any info on this for me. Just because it's not something I can control. And it doesn't work out great for me. So if you have a look, we had a show with John Janovitz and we may well have covered it in that show. But we'll probably have John on again because I mean he's bound to win something else and he's always a good person to chat to. Keith, sorry, didn't get to this. How does the Equinox compare to the DNA coil? I love my DNA coil, and would an Equinox be a good addition? Not sure how close they are. I like both the Equinox and the DNA coil. I have the DNA coil. It's a little bit cleaner and a little bit more angular than the Equinox. But yes, I think that they can play off each other. I probably would lay them out. I'd probably lay the Equinox out maybe a hair stronger than the DNA to just make sure the gap's a little bigger. But yeah, I like both of those balls quite a bit. I don't think that they're in any way bad off each other. Matt says Chris is one of the greatest of all time. I still really enjoy watching him bowl. If he can get a little bit of swagger back, he could be very dangerous. Yeah, no, I agree. Nevin, 100%. You go and give Chris a pep talk. I'm sure that's exactly what he's looking for. If you wear a Beef and Barnzy t-shirt, it'll probably go down a little better. What would be a good replacement for an attention star? Probably another attention star. They're still making them. They're still knocking those out. I don't necessarily think we have another ball that really is on top of the attention star. Equation. Equinox is more rounded, a little more continuous. So yeah. That would be check out Steve Jacobs. He is over at is it Town and Country, Chris? I think it's Town and Country Lanes. But yeah, Steve Jacobs is pretty good. He worked on the PBA tour, so he's up in Detroit. What kinds of adjustments do you implement on a short pattern, urethane primarily being used, high friction in the fronts and tight down lane? I think when it gets like that, I'm probably gonna like attempt to use once the lanes have transitioned. I think it's about using enough angle to get around the carry down a little bit. I think trying to have your break point a little sooner, and maybe having a adapting rotation to make sure the ball continues down the lane. So if you try and get the break point a little earlier, you probably won't be affected as much by the carry down or the tightness down lane. So they would be the sort of changes I'd be looking at. Okay. Moving down to 15, need to build an arsenal. What would you start with? Balls, no spare or urethane. No thumb, 480, 16 miles an hour at the pins. Lots of success with high road variants and hustle variants over the years. Okay, well, I mean, I would look at hustle earth or hustle x-ray, whichever one you can get your hands on. They're pretty smooth. I wouldn't like if you like. I think this high road 40 is pretty good, so I think that they would be two good options to start with. On the asymmetrical side, I think attention stars look really good for no thumb players. So that would be 3. And then to add to that, it really depends on how much oil you bowl on. As a strong ball, I really like Ion Max. I think it's kind of a bit more continuous than the other stronger balls we had. So that would be it goes to 4. So Ion Max, Attention Star, High Road, and the Hustle Earth. And then I think that's how I would start it. And then once I saw the gaps, I would fill those in. So if I saw that I had a big gap, which I think you probably will, between your attention star and the Ion Max, I would maybe consider something like the XL to fit in, although that's just become discontinued, but something like an XL could be an Ion Pro is another option. And then from there, I think it would become more obvious what I would need. So if I felt like the Hustle Earth was a ball I was using a lot, but it was getting a little bit smooth down the lane, then I would consider like another Hustle, maybe a Glow. It would all depend on what I was using more of. I don't think buying all 6 at the start is a good idea. Typhoon is another one that wouldn't be bad underneath the High Road 40. But yeah, I would buy 2 or 3 to start with and go from there. Last year, the bear pattern was used for the US Open, and that played very similar to US Open. Yeah, bear is pretty flat. What do you think when the Typhoon is burning up when you're playing inside 20 with max speed and rotation? Chase it left, loft, or hustle? Yeah, I mean, probably all of the above. And maybe hustle as well. I mean, yeah, it sounds like the lanes are really broken down. Okay. Here he is. Smart ass is back. As someone who's looking to retool a little, well, I'll stop you there. A little. Would you suggest shortening my follow through? I wouldn't, because I think you have to be hella talent to be able to do that. And I just don't think you've got those goods. I don't think you got the goods to have no follow through. Maybe you should look for extra follow throughs. Maybe that would be a better direction for you to go. But just wondering. If you do come to Amazon sometime, stop by B3. Yeah, I've been over there a couple of times. Brandy and Mike are awesome, and Brett, of course. What's the best current ball up and down from the Equinox on a house shot? Want to add another couple of pieces for the fall. I really like this High Road 40 down from it. Same cover. I think that's a really nice addition. Wouldn't draw it too weak, but yeah, I think that's a pretty nice addition. And then up from the Equinox, I mean, I still kind of like the XL, but if you can't get hold of one of those, up from that, I feel like Ion Max is going to be a little bit too strong. I'm sure there's probably going to be some other balls coming. But yeah, Ion Pro Solid, maybe. I could see that with a kind of a stronger layout fitting in that gap. But right now, the answer to that question is I don't 100% know. The down is easy. The up is, yeah. I would get an XL if I could. I think that ball's rolled pretty nice. Yeah. Adam says both Chris and Janowitz are nice to talk to. Yeah, John especially. Starting on Dragon, not sure which version next week at PBA Experience. Any tips for general approach to the pattern? Keeping the it's going to feel like you're going to have to almost throw straight at the head pin in comparison to bowl on sort of like a house shot, because you're going to have to use so much less angle through the front part of the lane. That's the hardest thing in my mind when you first start bowling on long patterns. When you're just looking, you're 100% going to be looking for hold. Yeah, that's the key. It's like being able to adjust your eyes to being able to keep it more in front of you. Basically, you can discount outside of 7 as even slightly an option. Yeah. You wore the shirt last year. Well, I'm sure Chris was nice to you then. Usually a fillet guy. Kind of boring, but yeah, usually a fillet guy. No problem. Yeah, Chris said it was Town and Country. Stu, I know you probably get this a lot, but I would really like to know if not urethane pieces level use on drier length addition, since create urethane shots but have resin to be more versatile. I don't know. I don't like using urethane or urethane light balls when there's not much oil. I think shorter patterns, yes, but I still think they need oil because they still want to pick up earlier. So yeah. Looking for a ball down from IQ Tour AI. Any recommendations? Yeah, for me, Typhoon would probably be a good option. Chris laughs at me, suggesting he doesn't have the talent to go with no follow through. Dan, is there an RV repair site that you can recommend? My traveling mechanic isn't very good at his job. The fact that you thought that Chris would be good at anything related to something like that is quite shocking. But yeah, I don't know one offhand, but I probably know a guy who knows a guy. I'm sure you've got that all taken care of, Don. Hey, Nate, this is an interesting question. What should a proper thumb feel like? My ball feels like it hangs from my second knuckle in my backswing, even with pressure from the base of the thumb. It sounds like the angle might not be perfectly right on your oval. Like for me, the key to a good thumb hole is to feel like it would feel like it you don't have to like make an effort to let go of it, and you don't have to make an effort to hang on to it. That would be the biggest key to me. I think that everybody grips it a little bit more than they're willing to say. Like especially once you start to get more rev rate, you're gonna really have to grip onto it a little bit anyway. I think if you chat to EJ, he'll tell you that, like, you know, he bends his thumb some when he's throwing it. For me, the main key is to feel like I don't have to really, really like hang on for dear life. And then I can just make the tape a little bit less. The other part of it is pitch makes a pretty big difference. Although the biggest difference I would say for me is how my swing is. Like if I feel like my swing is super steep, it always feels like the ball is like I can't hold on to it. So what I actually do when I practice is I actually practice with the thumb being a little loose because I feel like If I can bowl with the thumb hole being too loose, then I know that I've got a good flat spot, because if you keep your hand underneath it as you come down, it's not going to feel like it comes off. But if you have your hand like on the top of the ball, like I guess like this rather than like this, like as you come down, your wrist breaks and you get on top of it, it's going to feel like it's going to fly off. So, yeah, I would go in and sort of like try and explain to the pro shop what's going on, and I think that they'll probably be able to help you. Nate, you also asked what would be a good replacement for a Vibo. Identity wouldn't be a bad option, even if it is a little stronger. Other than that, I don't 100% know really, because that Vibo was really clean. I don't necessarily know that we have a ball that's quite that clean anymore. Because Attention Star is definitely a little earlier than the Vibo. Sorry. Same with Equinox. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing I could think of is an Identity off the top of my head. Phase 2. I don't know. Focus or Rockstar. It seems like most people are having more success with the Rockstar, to be honest. Lloyd, hey, how's it going? I did not find any hook left and no hole from the outside at Nationals. Yeah, they were pretty tough, especially on the team pattern. Usually a fillet guy. Yeah, Tina would say that's the only for herself. Yeah, Tina's like she ain't about the other cuts. Yes, I also think this Hustle Earth is going to be pretty good. Also, I just don't think people are going to like the color as much. Yeah. Getting new balls for the season sounds fun. Switching to Joe Pro Grips, boo. I got the new Hustle Glow for the summer, and that thing's been amazing so far. Tina got that one. I got the Earth. So, would the Earth High Road 40 Rockstar be too much of an overlap? No, I don't think so. I think that those three balls would space out nicely, and then that Hustle Glow would be underneath it. So yeah, I think you're on a pretty good track there, Joseph. Have a big gap in my Arsenal Ion Max to Phase 2 to Road Warrior to Pitch Black. What would your favorite one or two gaps fills be between Phase 2 and Road Warrior? Thinking sport or house shot applicable. For me, that's a pretty easy one. The Equinox. 100% would be for that gap. I think that would split that gap perfectly. Attention Star would also work. I just kind of like the shape of the Equinox better, especially on the house shot. I think it blends it a little better. How much surface do you suggest low rev players use on sport shots? It depends which one. It depends which center you're in. Because surface is relative. So you're going to use more surface. You're going to use more surface in a place that has more skid in the front, but you're not necessarily going to, but to create that in a place where there's less skid in the front, you're going to have less surface. So it really depends. I mean, I could use as much as 500 these days and not feel bad about it. How accurate is Storm's cover core chart? It shows EXO and Supercoil to each be top 1 and 2 in the strongest category, which would make DNA coils super strong balls. I don't know. I don't have those as the super strongest balls, but who am I to tell them they're wrong? Yeah, and strong is such a hard thing to define. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily agree with those two. I think that the Ion Max is by far and away the strongest ball. Um, so yeah, I I don't know. Don't know what to tell you. Uh, no, phase two and the Ruby are quite a bit apart from each other, to be honest. Um, yeah, I think the Equinox is excellent. I think it's worked out really well. Like Ryan used it this weekend. It's one of Tina's favorite balls. It's probably my favorite ball at the minute. So yeah, I think they're excellent. I think they cover a lot of bases. I I feel like for me it's almost a benchmark type ball in my bag. It kind of sets the tone for where everything else fits. So yeah, I've liked that one a lot. Okay, well, it seems like we slowed down a little bit on the questions. We got to 40 minutes. I'm thankful to you guys because like I say, I didn't really have a plan at all for this show. So that's awesome. Is the Ion Solid better with Surface? I can't say because I haven't really used it with any Surface. I mean, I've cracked the cover, but I wouldn't define that as like Surface. I still have it fairly shiny. So yeah. No problem. He says, I like to start with the IQ Tour, then get into my XL. What would be good ball to transition to next? Looking for something I can get really far left with and still get it out to the right. Probably an attention star. Because what I think you're doing is like you're using the IQ Tour on the fresh, and then you move left into the XL because that's going to pick up more in the oil. And then the XL probably gets a little slow because you've kind of broken down the front and you need more hook down lane. So I think, depending on your style, I think that um, I do think that the attention style would probably fit quite well there. What six ball arsenal would you take to Reno for IBF World Championships? Also, would you expect to use more surface on balls with it being a newer lane surface? Interesting question, Ian. If I had the option, given the way the World Championships and stuff have gone, I would probably take a purple hammer or a pitch black. But yeah, then from that, I would look at it like I would um I would pretty much have a spare ball for sure. Then I'd do something like Ion Max. I thought the Equinox rolled really well in Reno. And this is without knowing the pattern. So Ion Max, Equinox, something like Phase 2 or Rockstar, and then probably something like IQAI or High Road 40 for the bottom part of the bag. Would be the direction that I would go in. Yeah, weather was awful. Thankfully, the hail was mainly on Thursday, not Friday. So shout out to Ryan for giving me and Frankie a little bit of a ride around when we parked our cars in some parking garages to try and avoid the hail that never actually came. I don't think it's a weaker Vibo. No, I think it might be a little earlier than the Vibo. Um, I don't think it's that close to the attention star, to be perfectly honest. I probably will end up coming, even though I've had almost zero success in that building. I will probably put myself through the pain and agony of bulleting there again. Nate says, I picked up an Ion Pro Solid from Highland this weekend and was surprised how clean it was. Yeah, it definitely gets down the lane pretty good. Yeah. I like for me, I think that you can touch the surface a little bit and it'll be fine. Yes, I have the Origin is stronger than the Equinox. Feels like a bigger footprint. Well, have fun with Frankie. You can tell him that Tell him the face licker always scores. He was a little bit upset at old Marshan scoring again. He's rooting for Conor McJesus, as he calls him. So yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. One more, Travis. Bowling on house shots with high friction wood lanes, Iron Max burns up. For me, would pin down physics blackout being a good option. It definitely would be a option that's less likely to burn up than the Iron Max. A much cleaner cover on that one. So good luck with that. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting us. You know the drill. These are the people who support us the most. Storm, Rotogrip, 900 Global, Turbo, Coolwick, Bowlsmart, Firelake Bowling Center, Lightning Strikes, and our boys up in Terrell Platinum Ford. Thank you for watching. I will endeavor to try and figure out seeing you on Thursday. Have a good couple of days. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye now.